When constructing any figure, I always start with the largest forms. In the human body, these are the rib cage and the pelvic area. I sketch them using simple geometric shapes like circles and ovals. I mark the joints, starting with the shoulder joints, then the line of the shoulders. I mark the joints with fairly large circles to show that they are volumes. And now I show the center line of the figure. In this case, it's the line of the spine. I mark the axis of the arm. I mark the deltoid muscle. It's always very visible on the arm, and you can see it in the photo reference. The elbow joints of both arms are on the same line, so I sketched this line first. Then I marked the elbow of the right arm. Again, I emphasize the deltoid muscle. I add volumes and define the silhouette line. For now, this line may not be final. It is only a preliminary drawing. I will still refine and detail it a little. I mark the cranium and the edge of the face that I can see. Next, the hip joint and the axis of the leg. This is the axis of the thigh, which we see in foreshortening. The thigh is further from us than the back, so it visually appears smaller. I mark the shin. This is the part of the left forearm that is visible, and the very edge of the palm. I refine the line of the spine and the silhouette of the thigh. I refine the line of the shoulders. I draw the rhomboid muscles and finalize the silhouette of the shoulder. The model's head is slightly tilted forward, so the visible part of the cheek is positioned quite low. Now I mark the forearm of the right arm and complete the foot. I mark the ankle bone and the volume of the heel. I draw with very soft searching lines so that at any moment, if I'm unhappy with a line, I can refine it, accentuate it, or make it clearer. As you can see, my line is soft with some variations in width and thickness. This helps visually show when I have captured that particular silhouette or form. I mark the ear and the volume of the hair. I refine the swimsuit. I also need to complete the volume of the abdomen and the silhouette line of the swimsuit along the thigh. For this figure, I decided to incorporate the active, expressive light and shadow from the photo reference. I mark the boundary between light and shadow. I carefully go along the entire contour, neck, shoulder, arm, and observe how light and shadow meet. Now, with a softer pencil, I emphasize the lines and contours that seem correct and proportional, refining the silhouette. Using the side of the pencil, I first mark the illuminated strands. They are lighter, with the paper showing through. On the right, I press more firmly and darker to build up the shadow. I show the strands and curls. Using the side of the pencil is very convenient for this. Since the model has lowered her head, we can clearly see the hairline at the neck. Now I cast into shadow the entire part of the figure turned away from the light. You can hatch this part or simply go over the entire shadow area with the side of the pencil. The area where light and shadow meets in the transition from halftone to shadow is the darkest, called the heart of the shadow, so I work particularly darkly there. I cast the figure even deeper into shadow to show more volume and bright, sunny light. I also show volume on the thigh, starting at the light shadow boundary, and then hatching the halftones and chorus shadow. Here I refine the silhouette line of the thigh and knee. I also add the shin and heel into the shadow. The foot is in partial shade, so I didn't darken it. I shade the arm, emphasize the silhouette of the hand and wrist, and refine the shoulder silhouette. I shade the swimsuit and show a little volume on it. Of course, these light, shadow, and volume nuances are impossible without a convincing figure construction first. If we don't construct the figure as I showed at the beginning, it will look unrealistic, flat, and unconvincing. So we always start with figure construction, then layer clothing, hair, details onto that solid structural drawing. Now I decided to shade the bottom of the swimsuit a little to make the image more cohesive. I also mark the shoulder blades. They're not distinct in the photo, but we know they're there, and the back isn't flat, so it's better to show them. I also added a cast shadow to make my heroine look even more three-dimensional and impressive.